What would you do if you could live forever? Maybe you would take the time to learn every single skill you ever wanted. Maybe you would throw yourself out from a plane without a parachute for fun. Obviously, squishy human people like you and me could never hope to do something so self-destructive. But what if you did have some kind of ability that allowed you to live such a life? Well, that's the appeal of immortality. Immortality, put simply, is the ability to not die. It comes in a variety of forms with differing amounts of effectiveness, though truth be told, some forms of immortality are simply better than others. For example, you have abilities like eternal life, which would simply make it so that regardless of how long you live for, you will never pass away through natural means, though other forms of death may still have an effect on you. On a higher scale, you have abilities like regenerative immortality, which allows a character to regenerate from any number of fatal wounds, ranging from missing organs to even singular atoms. Of course, there are other forms of immortality even greater than this, but it would take way too long to get into all of them. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some of my favorite instances of immortality abilities from anime, going over how they function, how they were used, and what makes them so cool. If I didn't mention one of your favorites, feel free to talk about them down in the comment section below, and if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get going. Bleach is no stranger to immortality abilities. Pretty much every single character in the series has some form of eternal life, as they are souls rather than humans, though they do seem to age to some extent. While this is true, there is still a form of soul death in Bleach when someone takes otherwise lethal damage, and thus there are abilities that can ignore this form of death as well. And believe me, Kubo loves this ability. While antagonists started off with simple powers like creating flames or using guns, by the time of the final arc, almost every single antagonist had some form of immortality. Let's go through all the immortals within the Quincy just for fun. Uryu can reverse any negative event that happens to him, making him virtually immortal. Jugram can redirect any negative event that happens to him, making him virtually immortal. Pernida can regenerate and reconstruct upon death, making him flat-out immortal. Gerard revives upon death stronger than before, making him flat-out immortal. Mask the Masculine cannot be killed unless James is simultaneously killed with him, making him virtually immortal. Gremmy cannot be killed unless he imagines himself being killed, making him virtually immortal. Lil Barrow cannot be killed as he is intangible to all attacks. His second form just gives him regenerative immortality on top of this, so he's flat out immortal. Giselle is a zombie, so she can't die, making her flat out immortal. Yeah, you get the point. Credit where credit is due, in most of these cases, the way that immortality functions is decently interesting, having their own strengths, weaknesses, and applications. However, without a doubt, the most interesting immortality abilities in Bleach belong to both Sosuke Aizen and Yuha. Sosuke Aizen has what I would call adaptive immortality. See, he is in possession of an object called the Hogyokyu, which materializes the user's deepest desires. So, if you wanted a Whopper, I guess it could make that. In Aizen's case though, his desire was to stand above all other races within the verse as a god, and in order to do that, every single time Aizen takes a death-like attack, he instantly regenerates and returns stronger than before. For example, at the moment of Gin's betrayal, he used Korose, Kamishini no Yari, which allows Gin to destroy matter down to a cellular level. Within an instant, Aizen's entire torso had decayed away, and for all intents and purposes, he should have died. But in this moment, the Hogyokyu heeds his desire to survive and become even stronger, reviving him in a new form better than before. Even when hit by an attack that shrouds the entire horizon in darkness, consuming all of Ichigo's Shinigami powers and ripping Aizen clean in two, he simply shrugs it off and acts like it never happened. While that level of immortality may sound impressive, Yuha takes this a step further. Why heal from an event that damaged you when you could simply not have that event happen in the first place? The Almighty allows Yuha to retroactively manipulate the future. Any event that would occur to him that is not to his liking can be retroactively changed and removed from the timeline. Yuha has used this ability to shatter weapons before they even touch his body, and of course, per the title of this video, completely rewrite his own death at the moment that it happens. Without a doubt, one of the most impressively powerful and cool abilities within this series. The world of Jujutsu Kaisen is exceedingly mortal. Characters die frequently, almost randomly, to the point that any character a reader becomes attached to may very well receive that fate. Even characters that you think are invincible may not be spared from the weight of Gege Akutami's world. There is no truly immortal character in Jujutsu Kaisen, save for one man. For you see, after landing a jackpot, for the next 4 minutes and 11 seconds, Kinji Hakari is effectively immortal. Okay, I can't actually play funk music because I get copyrighted, so just go ahead and play it in your head. So, how does Hakari's immortality ability work? Well, this shit's quite complicated. To make a long story extremely short, like Gege needed a double spread panel to explain this, once Hakari opens his domain, he is capable of going for spins with the goal of lining up 3 characters, with a 1 in 239 chance of a jackpot. In regular gambling, a jackpot simply means gaining more earnings. However, in the context of a fight, Hakari wins by essentially becoming incapable of losing. He gains infinite cursed energy, allowing him to use reverse curse technique to heal any injuries he may receive. Hakari's regeneration has been said to be the fastest in the verse, allowing him to regenerate entire limbs before his opponent gets a chance to blink, losing an arm and striking his opponent less than a second later. Hakari's entire face has been ripped off, his brain nearly exploded, and despite all of this, he's capable of regenerating faster than it could bother him. The only thing holding Hakari's ability back is its reliance on luck, but after winning a 1 in 239 chance off the rip when he needed it most, you could almost say his luck is another power that goes hand in hand with his immortality. Now this series is a bit of a sleeper hit, so let me just explain the premise real quick. In the world of Undead Unluck, there are characters called negators. Negators are capable of nullifying one of the fundamental rules of the universe. Unmove negates an object's ability to move. Unrepair makes it so that an injury, once received, can never be healed or treated. And thus, the titular Undead allows the user to remove their own ability to die. Andy, from Undead Unluck, is incapable of receiving death in any way, shape, or form, allowing him to regenerate from any and all damage as long as he has the space to do so. Being the signature ability of one of the main protagonists of the show, Andy's Undead has been trained to the point that the simple ability to not die has been refined into an arsenal of varying and powerful techniques. Andy is capable of doing things like launching his own fingers or body parts as bullets, by having them regenerate so fast that they launch off his body. He is capable of flight by constantly blasting out regenerated blood from his limbs. He can use enhanced sword strikes by blasting the sword out of his body with blood. Hell, he can even fire concentrated beams of blood so powerful that he can decimate an entire city in an instant. The sheer potency of Andy's regeneration is no joke, whether it be surviving as just a head, being brought back from vaporization, surviving on the sun itself, or even making it past the death of the universe, his abilities are nearly limitless. So if you haven't read Undead Unluck, I'd seriously recommend you do. It's got a bumpy start, but is overall a great read. Immortality is a really simple ability, but if a writer is creative enough, they can allow it to do much more, whether that be through how the ability works itself or the applications of its use. And I know there are countless more characters to talk about, whether that be Ban from 7 Deadly Sins or Hidan from Naruto, but unfortunately this is all the time I have. So if there are any characters you'd like to talk about, just leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. With that, I'll say thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.